Okay. Well, Kathleen, thank you very much for allowing me to interview you about your story. But as we talked, I saw you on the virtual meetup, and I was so absolutely impressed. My jaw dropped at how much you have changed in appearance and demeanor too. I mean, your eyes are brighter. You have a glow of health. So I thought you would be a spectacular person to get one-on-one, so we could hear your story. So could you tell us how you first came to the Undoctored program?
Yeah, sure. I guess it's been almost a year ago. It will be, as a matter of fact, it will be a year, July 1st. I was having just some real, not feeling well, not having any energy, overweight, pre-diabetic. I had just gotten my results back from the doctor. I had an A1C of 6.8, and I just was thinking, there's got to be something out there for me. And I think I may have run across one of your Facebook messages, actually. I think it may be where I saw it first. And I saw you had a post about Undoctored You. And so I thought, well, this is interesting. I wonder, what this might be. Of course, I was skeptical because, everybody's trying to sell you some supplement or some, diet or something. So I thought, well, let me check this out. And so I did. And I think you had 3 or 4 free ones that you could do in the very beginning. So I thought, well, let me try these. And so I watched those first couple of videos, those first few days. And I was really intrigued by everything you had to say. So I decided to purchase the Undoctored You program, and it was not that expensive, considering what all the dollars that I have spent on supplements and weight loss programs and all these other things. And I thought, well, I'm just going to do this every single day. I'm going to watch one video because it sends you a link to a video every day. So I did that, and every day I would go on Facebook and post about what I had done in my Undoctored program that day, or what I had learned. And every day I would take whatever I had learned and try to apply it in my life. If it was stop eating grains, stop eating sugar. And it was a very gradual way to introduce the program, because I just made one small change every day. And I started posting that to my friends, and then I started seeing results. First of all, it was a little bit of weight loss, and then it was, I was feeling better. I had more energy. My skin was clearing up, and within, I think it's a 40-day program, but within that first couple of weeks, I was feeling so much better that people were just amazed, and they said, okay, well, I'll like to try that too. And so some of my friends actually joined up as well. But I continued for the 40 days, finished the 40-day program, and I was hooked, and then I joined the inner circle and started learning more and more. So what I do is I take the Undoctored program as a jumping off point for me. I find things that interest me, that seem to apply to health issues I'm having, and then I take that and research it, and I read everything I can find. And I think that's the whole point of being Undoctored, is you have to educate yourself and be proactive about your health.
Now, because you've been on our virtual meetups regularly, I know that you had small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO. Could you tell us about that experience?
Sure. And that's one of the things that I actually learned from the Undoctored program was we started talking about SIBO. You started talking about it on, some of our meetups, as well as some of your advanced topics. And I started reading this and thinking, oh my, this sounds an awful lot like me, like issues I'm having. And of course, as I started to try to use the prebiotic fibers, I immediately realized that, okay, I have SIBO. It wasn't a big surprise because I've had a gastric bypass it's been almost 15 years ago now, but still, it was not a surprise. I also was diagnosed about that time, 15 to 20 years ago, with fibromyalgia. and suffered greatly with it to the point where I was put on Cymbalta for pain, which is a horrible drug, and I would never recommend to anybody because you cannot get off of it. It did help the pain, but being able to stop that drug is almost impossible. At any rate, as I started testing, I decided one of the ways, again, I took it as a jumping off point and started finding, how do I find out if I have SIBO? Well, I couldn't find any real functional medicine practitioners in my area, but I did find that I could get a breath test, a hydrogen breath test done. So I sent away for that kit, had that done, and sure enough, it came back positive. So what I did at that point, and with your help and direction, was to start looking at some of the herbal antibiotics I could take to help with that. So started taking the herbal antibiotics, dysbiocide and Epsicidal, and used those for about a month. And after that time, went back to the Undoctored program. No wheat, no grains, no sugar, just eating, simple whole foods. And to my surprise, my fibromyalgia was 1,000% better. I was amazed because my pain was almost gone. But I found out that after about 6 months, it came back and I had SIBO again. I was having all of the signs. My fibromyalgia got worse. I started having pain again. So I had to do another round of those antibiotics, which I did. But this time, one of the things I learned is about if I'm destroying my microbiome, then I need to do things to replace it, which I hadn't done the time before. So I started using probiotic foods like yogurt. I started making sauerkraut, making pickles, making kefir, water kefir, and kombucha, and consuming those things every day, at least one of those things with every meal. And I also started doing some fasting, and I think that helped as well, intermittent fasting. But I found that, within a few weeks after stopping the herbals again, I was back to normal. And so far, fingers crossed, it's been about 4 months and I feel better than ever with no signs of SIBO whatsoever.
That's great. What's become of your list of medications?
Oh, goodness. It doesn't exist anymore.
That's great.
No, I don't take any prescription medications. I do take the supplements that are recommended by the program. I do also have to take a few other supplements because of my gastric bypass. I have malabsorption problems. So I have to be real careful with things like B12 and, of course, the D we do anyway, the vitamin D. But I have to be fairly careful with some of the other things. So all I really take are supplements every day. I love taking the magnesium water. I take it both morning and evening, and I find it helps me sleep like a baby. I just, I drink a cup of that and I just go off to sleep, and I sleep beautifully all night. Don't wake up till 5 minutes before the alarm.
Now, you being a regular on the virtual meetup, I noticed you had been on for about 3 weeks, and then you came on, and even in that space of 3 weeks, it was truly, a lot of us didn't even recognize you. A 3-week change. Tell us about that. Tell us what happened.
Well, I guess I don't notice it. Other people notice it more than I do. But I do know that I feel so much better. I have so much more energy, and I know that my features are changing. I've lost 61 pounds in a year, so that's been phenomenal. And that was below. I'm now about 25 pounds below what I was after my gastric bypass. Where they told me I'd gotten as low as I was going to get. I lost 150 pounds, and that's what they would tell me, I would lose from a gastric bypass. So now I'm 25 pounds below that. So that's been amazing. And I'm talking to friends who are saying, oh, I'm going to get a stomach stapling or a gastric bypass. I'm going, no, don't do that. Here's what you need to do. Just stop eating the grains and sugar and it will take care of itself. The same with your diabetes. My A1C now is about 5.4. Last time I had it checked. I'm sure it's lower than that now because my fasting blood sugars through most of the day, if I check them, are around 85.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So you're using the yogurt, the lactobacillus reuteri yogurt?
I am. And one of the things I noticed with that is skin changes. Particularly, I have a problem with senile purpura, which is little purple marks that you see older people a lot of times. They get on their arms in particular. And I had a problem with that because if I would just carry something, a purse on my arm, it would mark my arm. And that after using the yogurt for I would say about a month, I started noticing that wasn't happening anymore. I recently moved and wasn't able to keep making the yogurt, stopped taking the yogurt, and I noticed that it came back as I was unpacking in boxes, and I would just a bump would be a big dark purple mark. Not even really a bruise, but a funny red purple color that particular skin condition has. So yeah, the yogurt has been great, and I think it's also been very good for replacing the bowel flora. Because I not only use that, I also make one from a probiotic capsule as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I use both.
I've been speculating, and others have speculated, that the lactobacillus reuteri may be a key component of a prevention effort for recurrent SIBO, because it colonizes the stomach and duodenum and upper GI tract, which most probiotics do not do. And it's a vigorous source of a so-called bacteriocin called reuterin that is antibacterial. So it's kind of, not only does it improve skin health, accelerate skin healing, and improve bone density, and improve libido and energy, I think it's also going to prove to be a very important component of a preventive or a treatment even for SIBO. So that's excellent. Now, I guess we'll have to rely on pictures. I'd love to get a before picture of you somehow, because really, if anybody sees what you have accomplished, it is truly jaw-dropping.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kathleen, do you think you saved money by engaging the Undoctored program?
Oh, I know I do. I have no drugs that I use any longer, so I don't have any prescriptions to buy. And one of the things I did this year was I switched to a high deductible health insurance plan, which saves my company money, saves me money. My premiums are half the cost because I don't use my insurance very much. I'm able to do that, and I'm able to take those savings and put them into my health savings plan, which is mine and I can keep forever. Even after retirement, that money is still mine, always will be. And so I'm saving for future health costs and not spending the money now that I would normally be spending on the regular PPO program for the health insurance. So it's been a huge savings for me.
That's spectacular. Well, Kathleen, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Sure, happy to.